It's Lucy Brand, intuitive healer and business coach to women entrepreneurs. And welcome to another episode of the High Frequency Females. Today, this episode is a bit different. I'm a bit nervous about doing it, actually. I'm not quite sure what that is about. I think possibly because I'm probably going to be a bit vulnerable. But today I want to talk about grief in business. And the thing is, I think because grief can be a very loaded topic, like money, and it can also be a very challenging topic to talk about, or even share about, or even express about, because there's a lot of stuff out there about how we should grieve or how long we should grieve for and stuff like that. And that's just rubbish, because everyone grieves in their own way and experiences things in their own way. And so that's what I want to talk about today, drawing on experiences of my own and with clients, of how grief can impact your business and how to kind of deal with that. That's what I'd like to support you with, the ways that, and I'm no expert on this, but just how I've seen it show up for other people and how I've helped them to kind of move past things or let go of things. Oh, thanks, Emma. To let go of things and just move on. Because grief can be so heartbreaking. It can be so painful, and just really challenging. And when I'm talking about grief, I'm talking about, it could be anything. There's no bounds to this. It could be that maybe you've recently broke up with a partner. Maybe you've lost a loved one. Maybe you've lost a pet. It could be anything that's then impacting the way you show up in your business or the way you even deal with things in your business. Because it could be that you're feeling guilt. It could be that you've made mistakes in inverted commas, and therefore you could be punishing yourself or just giving yourself a hard time, basically. So I'll go into a bit more detail about what I mean about that. So perhaps in your business, perhaps you've made a few mistakes recently, or in the past you've made mistakes, or perhaps you have been given an inheritance, or perhaps you've made some decisions that you now feel a bit guilty for, or perhaps they weren't the right decisions now in hindsight. So all of this, and then if your loved one has passed on, what we can do is create stories. And I've done this in my own mind, and I've beat myself up about the decisions I've made, the mistakes I've made, and I then get to feel guilty. I felt guilty about those decisions, which is layered on top of the feeling of mistakes that I've made. And that's just not truth, because if you search in your heart, if I really tune in to how, for me it would be my grandma, how she would really feel about some of the decisions I've made, all that would come back is love. All that she would say or express to me is just how much she loved me and how amazing she thinks that I am and how proud of me she is. And I bet that you could tune into that too. And that's what you need to tune into, not the stories that you're now creating because that loved one has passed on. And so what tends to happen is we tend to fill in the gaps from our mind, our ego mind, which could be stuff like, you're not good enough, you've not done that right, they'd be very disappointed in you. And if you really tune into your heart, is that truth? I don't think so. I think that they would be really proud of you. They would be compassionate with you. They would love you. They would be understanding. And they would be rooting for you. And they would forgive you. And that's what this comes down to, is it's actually about being able to forgive yourself. Can you forgive yourself for the decisions you made? Can you forgive yourself for the mistakes that you made? And as an entrepreneur, then you'll know, like if you've look at or listened to interviews or seen interviews of any of the most incredible entrepreneurs out there that are really, making huge changes and reaping the benefits. They have failed and failed often. They've made plenty of mistakes. So we don't need to give ourselves something else to beat ourselves up with, because I'm sure that we do that often enough. So my thing for this is just to think about what were in your past where you may still be grieving. And like I said, it could be a past relationship. I know that some things have come up for me from a past relationship, and when I tried to work, when I just split up, it was horrendous. Like I was like a zombie. I was so heartbroken. And it's allowing yourself and giving yourself the permission to grieve. And if that takes 10, 20, 30 years, it takes that long. Who's to say that it should be a certain amount of time? Give yourself the permission to grieve. And that means give yourself the permission to cry. Give yourself the permission to scream if you want to, or punch a pillow if you're angry. Whatever it is, get these emotions, express them in a safe way, away from others if you choose, but just in a safe way, express them. Because with these emotions, if we stuff them down, then they can come out at the most inappropriate moments, as has happened with me. And that's not good for you or probably the other people with you at the time. So just allowing yourself, giving yourself the time, the space and the permission to feel that. And if it's 10 years, 20 years, 30 years later, who cares? Just allow yourself to grieve and let all these emotions go. And then on the back of that, is there any forgiveness that you need to do for any decisions you made or any choices you made? And that's what I was, if it's with a partner, say you and your partner have split up or something, if you check in with your love, like even your heart, sorry, even if it's not amicable at the moment, or it's challenging at the moment, or it's difficult, on some level, if you check in with your heart, then there is love there. There was love there for you to have spent time with them. And it might not be to that bit at the moment, but you know that there is love and forgiveness at the base level there in your heart. So can you forgive yourself? And so I had to do a lot of work on this, forgiving myself for mistakes that I made. And these were impacting my business as well, because it's impacting how I showed up, because I felt guilty. So that was affecting my confidence and my confidence, and also my feeling empowered by the decisions I've made. Also, like mistakes, financially mistakes as well, feeling guilty about those. So I had to forgive myself. So what I did is I wrote out, and I had to do a little bit of digging, because this isn't surface stuff, particularly if that person has passed away or that relationship ended a long time ago, and we've stuffed down the emotions at the time because we felt that that was the right thing to do, or we were told perhaps that that was the right thing to do, or we were trying to hold it together, or be strong for someone else, or to not look weak, or to not show that we were vulnerable because we're hurting and we're sad and we're in pain, then you might have to go there to just release them. But I promise it will be worth it. Just let all this go, and you might find stuff that you didn't even realise that you blamed yourself for, or that you feel guilty over. And we've got to let that stuff go. We've got to let that stuff go so you can catapult in life and in business. So the first step to that is uncovering what it is and just tuning into those feelings and forgiving yourself. So I've mentioned this before, forgiveness, this is huge. This is a technique I share with all my private clients and I practice myself, is Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and then I love you. Just because love is all there is. Love is the best emotion that you can experience, and loving yourself and forgiving yourself. And if you're having a hard time with that, just repeat it over and over again. Say it to yourself in the mirror. Look yourself in the eye and forgive yourself for whatever it is you need to forgive yourself for. Because I know that the loved one that had passed or anything, they would forgive you for it like that, gone. Or perhaps your partner, you know, once you get to a stage where you can forgive and love each other, then it would be the same there. It would just be, just forgive yourself. That's the kindest act that you can do. One of the kindest acts that you can do is forgive yourself, because you are so worthy and deserving of that forgiveness, no matter what you might have experienced or been told. And that is one of the highest things that you can do. So forgive yourself, let yourself go, express the grieving in whatever form you need to. It could be journaling, like I said, it could be hitting a pillow, it could be screaming. I've done plenty of that in my time. And then just writing out, could be journaling, and just seeing whatever remnants, if it's not fresh or if it is fresh, just be gentle with yourself and just let it go, and then forgive yourself, just with the Hawaiian forgiveness prayer. And then to fully really let go of stuff, I would then do an EFT tapping. So I'll do a tapping script with you now, which you are free to tap along to. As always, if the words don't resonate, then just let them, don't use them. But if they do, and I hope they do, because the reason I'm doing this video, even though I've got a lot of anxiety myself at the moment about doing it, is because I want this to provide value. I want this to help you, if you are in a place of grieving, to to let it all go and forgive yourself and move forward and just fill your heart back up with love, not suffering and pain and sadness. Just fill it back up with love and joy again, and gratitude that that person was in your life and you experienced them, whatever form that take. So yeah, an EFT video. And like, as always, I'm going to start with letting it go, letting all the lower vibrational emotions go and that release. And then we're going to fill it in with the positive. So what I will say, if you are going to tap along with me, then just be careful and be gentle with yourself, because this might shift some stuff and it might be upsetting. But if it is shifting stuff, then it is probably ready, ripe. It is time to kind of let this stuff go. But this doesn't mean losing the memory or losing any memories. It just means kind of clearing yourself out so that only the positive and the goodness and the fond memories can stay alive in you, and in your heart. And so, yeah, basically just taking responsibility for your own well-being is what I'm asking with this video. And if it's the case that after this video you need to go and have a big cry, go and do that. If you need, give yourself the permission to do it. If you need it from someone else, then I give you all the permission you need to grieve how you choose to grieve, how you need to grieve, mind, body and soul. If you need to go and have a bath, then go and do that. Just go and do that. Do whatever you need to do to nurture and care for yourself. Okay, enough. Right, so I'm going to do some tapping. I just need to tune into this. Okay. So yeah, I might get a bit emotional. That's probably why I didn't want to do it. Getting out of my comfort zone. So I think I'm just going to jump. No, I'm going to step on solo hand. So even though I have all this sadness and all this pain and all this grief, when I think about and insert that person's name or the situation, and it makes me feel really guilty, or it makes me feel really sad. And sometimes I feel that I should have done things differently. I'm just going to honour all these thoughts and all these feelings because they're very real right now. And I'm just going to release them. I'm choosing to let them go for my highest good, as I deeply and completely love, honour, accept and forgive myself. All these feelings of sadness and pain and grief, when I think about, and even though part of me feels that I should have got over this by now, I'm just going to honour that too. And I'm choosing to release it. I'm choosing to let it all go. All this judgment, all these I should do's or I should have done. I'm letting it all go. I'm clearing it all out for my highest good, as I deeply and completely love, honour, accept and forgive myself. Then I'm just going to tap around the points. So all this sadness, all this grief, I really miss this person. I really miss them. And when I think about it, it really hurts. All this sadness and all this hurt, I'm just going to honour it. I'm choosing to release it. Clear it all out. I'm clearing out all this sadness and hurt on a cellular level. And I'm clearing out all this sadness and pain all the way back through my history. When I think about and if I think about how I could have done things differently, or I think about some of the decisions I made that perhaps weren't the best, I'm forgiving myself for those too. I'm letting all those go. Because it's time that I forgive myself. And I'm so worthy and deserving of forgiving myself. And I know deep down that would forgive me too in an instant and would let all this go. So I'm letting go all this sadness, all this grief, all these tears. I'm just letting it all go. I'm giving myself permission to let it all go, all this grief. I'm giving myself permission to forgive myself for any decisions or any mistakes I feel that I've made, because I'm doing my best, as is everyone. And sometimes we don't always make the best decisions when we're grieving, and that's okay. I'm okay with that now. I'm okay with letting that go now and stopping judging myself and just filling myself with love, because I know that that's what would want for me. And so by releasing all this grief and letting all this go, I'm returning to love. And I'm thinking about all the wonderful times, all the positive times. And I'm just feeling into my heart bursting with love and gratitude to have had those experiences and to be given those gifts. And I know that I am forgiven by that person too, and that they forgive me, and that they love me, and that they're proud of me. And I'm letting go of anything that's stopping me from showing up in life and business how I choose to. And I'm releasing and letting go of any guilt. And just letting it all go, so that I can just be left with all the joy and all the memories and all the gratitude and all the love. That's what I choose to feel and think about now. And moving forward, releasing and letting go of any grief, and forgiving myself for any mistakes that I may have made, or any decisions that weren't the right ones. I'm letting all that go. I'm choosing to forgive myself, as I know that this person would. And this person would support me and love me. Okay, take a deep breath in. Take a moment. So just sit with that. Like, it's not going to be... So usually when I do this, you can feel quite, I can't think of any other words right now, but high afterwards, quite positive and upbeat. But it might just, I've just felt a little shift of just kind of slowness and love is what I feel right now. But whatever you're experiencing, that is true for you, and that is perfect in every way. But this is just... So I hope this video has helped you. The main reason I've done it is just to, if you are in a place of grief, then just to help you move along with that and release anything that you want to release right now. And give yourself permission to experience that grief and release it. And just forgive yourself for anything that you may need to in order to move forward in your life or business. And I'm sending you all the love, all the compassion, and just, that's what I feel. So much love from me, and I'll be back next week with another episode of High Frequency Females. Much love, darlings. Bye.